I had a very thought-provoking day, and I wanted to share this one specific thought with you guys. I know this channel is always about small business, owning and growing, and finding that financial freedom we're all after. But this thought really stuck with me, and it's kind of I kind of feel weird saying it, but yeah, I just had to start with that. Thanks for coming back to this video, guys. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming anyways, and welcome if you're new to the channel. Every day I hear people talking that they hate their job, they hate their commute, they hate their boss, they hate their coworkers, they can't stand doing the unfulfilling work that comes with their 9-to-5 job. And yet years go by. People work for 40 years in the same job, saying the same thing, coming home and complaining about the same things, and nothing ever changes. And I think I've come to the conclusion why I believe that, and I truly think people don't have it bad enough to really make the change they want. Where things are just slightly okay enough to get by to the next week. They're bad, but they're not bad enough to do anything about it. They're very bad some days and okay other days, and weeks go by, months go by, years go by, and you're in the exact same position, kind of 75% hating the job, and the other 25% you can bear with it, you can keep going, but you never truly make that change because it's just bad enough where it's kind of okay. Life's okay, my bills are paid, I can't change. Why would I change? Everything is just okay. And listen, I'm not trying to say I have it all figured out here. I literally have you on a jar of jam that is probably expiring soon. There's nothing perfect about any path or career. I am just saying the most important thing for me was to do something that I wanted to do. It wasn't about always making, millions of dollars, and of course that's great. That's what we start businesses, to make money. But in order to get out of a situation that you are slightly okay with and just getting by, something needs to happen. Something needs to change. And honestly, until that happens, I'm telling you, 99% of people won't do anything but come home and complain about it. Because honestly, complaining is easy. This is what everybody does. You sit at a table with people and you complain or gossip or talk about things that you're probably never going to do. But it's about taking that action because things got just bad enough that you had no choice but to step out and do something else. And I've had this conversation in person with many people, and usually they take offense to it when I say I hope it gets worse. I hope your situation gets worse. People take offense to that because why would you want anybody's life to get worse? Why would you want that? Because that is honestly what it takes for 99% of people to make the change they always wanted to. And I would be stuck in so many jobs in the past if things didn't get slightly worse, or I realized I wasn't getting anywhere at all. When you really boil it down and think about it, people have been working 20, 30 years at a job they hate just to scrape by, and they're still broke. So where is the system broken? What are they doing wrong? They're working their asses off, trying to make money. They can't afford their bills, or they're spending too much. Where's the system broken? How many years do you have to work in order to be comfortable? Or is it you just keep working until you're 70? As long as you listen and say thank you to your boss all the time and follow everything he says, you'll be able to retire, and then you still scrape by. So where are we going wrong here? Things have to change. But people have been told to follow this script in life. You go to school, you get a job you really kind of don't love, you just have to do it to pay the bills. You get a mortgage and everybody's happy. Everybody's happy with that, you know. As long as my bills are paid and I can buy the food and the beer I want, I'm happy with that. That just doesn't seem like a fulfilling life. And 95% of people that I know are in this situation, but they're too afraid to actually do anything about it. And I'm no stranger to this. You know, I've never shied away on this channel from saying the truth. I had many jobs, and the latest one was a substitute teacher, where it was okay. I got by, I paid my bills, and everything was just okay. But at the end of the weeks, I started realizing, what am I working for? Just to pay the bills? Just to keep going? I'm working just so I can work more. And then if I'm a good boy and save money and invest, maybe I'll get to retire at 65 instead of 70. Because unfortunately, that's what happens. That is the script we're given. And as you know, on this channel, I've owned this store for 5 years. Yes, there's days that I absolutely hate it. There's days that, you know, I love it. The overarching theme is I chose to do something I wanted, and I'm following it out. I'm not doing this just to pay bills and get by. I'm doing this to grow a business, to essentially become financially free. That's why anyone starts a business. They want to have more free time. But unfortunately, for the first few years, maybe longer than a few years, you can't find that free time. So yes, you're in the trenches, but eventually you're trying to create something that works and sets you up against that script that everyone is given. So life was okay as a substitute teacher. You know, eventually I would get a full-time job and, you know, kind of get through it, make some decent money, you know, get by, do something I thought I enjoyed but now have to see through because it's too hard to quit. But it wasn't until I had this one day where I just said F it all. And it was one of the worst days of that profession. And I realized there's no amount of money worth it to do something you don't want. If you're doing something just for the money, it is a crime against your life. If you're not fulfilling your life goals, it is an offense to your life. And I stick with that, and it sounds so cliche, but it's so true. If you're only working for money, what is the point of your life? So now when people tell me, I can't stand my job, I can't wait to quit, I want to do this, this, and this, I tell them, I hope it gets worse. I hope your job becomes unbearable and it gets worse. Because only until it gets so bad will you take the leap and make the change. If it is always possible, like my substitute teaching career, where it's up and down, you know, I'm getting by and paying bills, you will stick with it for too long and waste your life on something that was just bearable and you're okay. You're a good boy, you made money, you know, you get your pension and your benefits and you did everything right, but you were never truly happy at the end of the day. You came home and watched Netflix just to numb the pain of that job that you know you didn't like, but you couldn't tell anybody. And if you're wondering what that FU day was that I had as a substitute teacher, was I came home from one of the worst classes I've ever had. You know, I had to write incident reports for fights in the class. I had to break up these people that were just, let's just say it was unruly. It was wild. And I came home, you know, mentally exhausted, physically exhausted, and I still realized I didn't really have any money to grow anything. I am just working to get by. I barely had enough to pay bills and rent at this career that I didn't enjoy, and I was working my ass off. And I know there's certain days and there's certain substitutes that you don't have to do anything. But it is such an unfulfilling profession that I found. Maybe some people love it. I'm not trying to offend you. But at the end of the day, you're winning at a rigged game if you are trying to work for someone else at a job you don't like. So if that's you, congratulations. But it just wasn't for me. Until it got worse, I didn't realize that. Yes, I hope it gets worse for you. Because that is sometimes the kicker people need to get out of this system, that they just have to get up, do a job they hate, come home, and repeat the next day. If you love your job, more power to you. But if you actually hate what you're doing and you're just getting by because it's passable, yes, I do hope it gets worse. That's the only way sometimes, and that was the only way for me. Because at least if you finally take the step where you know things are getting to a breaking point at the job you don't like, you at least try to find the passion that you can build to replace this job. Because if you don't actually take the time to try to build this out, because it's just passable enough where you numb the pain, waste your time watching Netflix, or spend 8 hours a day on your phone like everybody else, you're not going to do anything. The years will go by, you'll do the same thing every day, you'll spend 8 hours a day on your phone, scrolling through, watching people, watching, you know, the best side hustles, watching, you know, financial advice, but you won't actually take any action if you just are getting by at a job that, you know, it pays the bills and keeps you comfortable. But until you get uncomfortable, you're going to be in the same spot. And I need to take that advice as well. I need to get uncomfortable in this store. Things got too comfortable and my growth plateaued. Now it's time to take the next step. You know, now I'm realizing how uncomfortable I am with being comfortable in here. So we will see what happens at this point. And let's say, you know, things were going okay, you know, substitute teaching was fine. I would, you know, make enough money to get by, save a little bit, put a little bit aside. I was frugal, I didn't spend any money, and you know, the classes were okay. But I'm happy that it got worse, because I would still be in that position, kind of barely, you know, scraping by, getting, you know, some good days, some bad days, you know, complaining about it, you know, coming home, eating a bunch of junk food and sitting around doing nothing. But because it actually got worse, that's when I made the change and said I can't anymore. You know, I don't care what anybody else thinks, I don't care what anybody else says. I'm moving on from this, and I'm going to be doing my own thing. That's where this channel stemmed from. That's where our stores stem from. That's where, you know, our coffee business stemmed from. That's where Felicia's real estate agency stemmed from. These are where beautiful things stem from. When you take the action because things got just bad enough, where something happened and you said, F it all, I'm going to try doing my own thing. And by no means am I saying I'm living the dream yet, but I'm actually doing something I wanted to do. And that's almost the most important thing. So I leave you with that. I want you to think about that. I don't know if you agree with it or not, but it's what it took me to, I would say, the next level. And I would never want to be doing what I was doing before, because honestly, it was just work to me. This is my passion. This is what I'm growing. This is what I'm doing every day. And eventually, hopefully, it becomes something on a larger scale than I ever imagined. So, I thank you guys for watching this video. Thanks for coming this far. Have a good night. It was a little different today, but yeah. Have a good night. Stay blessed. Whatever people say at the end of their videos.